Hey, welcome back to Inside Gaming. Today we're going to be reviewing Destiny 2, the Shadowkeep expansion, and who better to do that with than Jacob Fullerton over at Funhouse, our friend. Hi, Jacob.
Hello, Connor.
Welcome to the channel. So happy to have the foremost scholar on Destiny. Gonna let you basically just run free in a green pasture of Destiny 2 lore.
Oh my God.
Calm down, calm down. Jacob, what's new?
One of the biggest changes in the game was a complete rework of the armor system. They call it Armor 2.0. They basically took out all the mods and stuff because they were all consumable items before. You slot them in there, you have them forever, and you can just mix and match at your leisure to just kind of really hone in on the build you want for your playstyle. And it kind of lets you focus on like your cosmetics a little bit more, how you want to look, because you can keep changing those things. And they put more stats, because everybody loves more numbers piled up in this video game where numbers explode out of aliens' heads.
Which they also revamped.
But it's really cool, so you can, if you're really hardcore into that stuff, you can kind of focus in on what makes your Destiny experience the best and make that all about your playstyle. As you progress and get more of those mods, which are permanent fixtures, you can make the kind of character that you've always really wanted to have without sacrificing that sweet, sweet Destiny fashion.
Yeah, I'm really happy about it because I'm always someone that liked the way my character looked, but I became hesitant to use any of the shaders, which still work as consumables, which fine, whatever.
Yeah.
But
Jesus.
I wouldn't use any of my shaders because I know I would get a better piece of armor. But now that you get ornaments, much like guns from legendary pieces of armor, you can keep that aesthetic, which I think is super cool.
Yeah, that was the other thing, is they took all the previous Eververse armor sets, which were part of the microtransaction thing, and you can apply those to any legendary armor piece as a cosmetic skin. Yeah, it's made me very confused about what I'm actually using and what I'm not, because everything looks like I want it to. So everything looks the same, but nothing is.
Everything's the same, but it's all different. Destiny 2 Shadowkeep. Well, this seems like a good segue into the new weapons, gear, and loot that have come with the expansion, which is always one of the best parts of a new expansion for Destiny.
Okay. Well, with the new setting, the moon, there came just, every expansion's got its new set of gear and stuff, and really straightforward ways to grind for them and for new roles if you want something like that. Some of them are tied to the newly introduced season pass, some of them are just quests you do on the moon, but within the first handful of hours, they're all things you can kind of obtain, and the game kind of pushes you to go for those things.
Yeah, I'm really happy about it. I've gotten a couple new weapons through kind of like a new bounty sort of system. Through what is it called? The Lectern of...
The Lectern of Enchantment? Is that...
I don't know.
Something like that.
But yeah, they were like hefty bounties that were like, kill enough enemies with this type of weapon, do a second thing, and then go find this artifact.
But luckily, once you find that artifact and you want to grind for that weapon again, you don't need to find the artifact. You just have to get kills with that weapon on the moon, doing activities. Then you can get another weapon, and maybe it'll be better than the last one, maybe it'll be worse. Destiny. So you can do that with the armor as well, and the only thing that changes is the stats.
And speaking of the Armor 2.0 system, there's something called the seasonal artifact that comes with the season pass. That has to do with that, right?
They introduced an item called the seasonal artifact, which will stick around for what is called the season of Undying.
Yeah.
That's the next few months of Destiny.
It's like a Vex Eye?
Yeah, it's a Vex Gate Lord Eye. Ooh. And every time you level up in the game, it has its own experience bar. As you turn in bounties, do activities, it levels up the artifact, and you pick a perk in the artifact, which could either manifest as a mod that you can apply to armor, or as just a thing you switch on in the artifact. So now you do certain damage to certain types of enemies.
Okay.
And stuff like that.
So it's like a skill tree?
Yeah, sort of.
Okay.
And then at the end of the season, it goes away and they introduce a new one. And supposedly, if you keep leveling up, this artifact can level up indefinitely, and it adds to your power.
So will this get you past the soft cap?
If you do it enough, which is a lot. It won't do it anytime soon, but if you're just going hard into that, maybe someday you won't have to do anything except level up bounties or whatever. You can have a sweet, sweet Gate Lord Eye.
One thing I want to talk about is one of the new features is finishers, which I am a huge fan of.
They're the best.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Sekiro, maybe Doom sort of.
I bring up Doom whenever I talk about the finishers, because it's kind of the same thing. You damage an enemy enough, they start blinking, you hit a button, and you go and do a sweet animation where you're just smacking them in the face or drop kicking them. Your character in all their glory, doing a sweet backflip and kicking a dumb alien in the face. Over and over and over, because you can't stop doing it because it's so freaking sweet.
And it actually has changed the way that I've played the game, which previous expansions haven't really done. It's making me want to like get more in the paint.
Some of the mods that you can get for your armor, you can put them on and it'll do things like generate special ammo for your whole fire team, but it takes a third of your super.
Oh.
So you have to, it's kind of a trade-off there, but you can actually make it so doing those finishers could kind of affect how it's going for your team and stuff.
That has made me die more.
I can't resist doing it, and I get killed.
You see a group of like 17 enemies and one has an orb over their head and it's like, ah!
Dang it, Bungie. Keep luring me in with these sweet animations that get me killed, and I can't stop.
But yeah, that's probably the most obvious change to combat and the way the game is played. But what do you think about general gameplay?
I mean, the shooting mechanics for Destiny have always been super solid, so that hasn't changed. A big thing in the past couple years of Destiny is having gear and abilities that make it so you don't have to reload. That became kind of a mainstay in endgame activities. It's just stuffing a whole team of fire teams in a circle where they don't have to reload their guns. And slowly over time, that's been something that Bungie has had to kind of build the game around, which has become a problem. Because with raid mechanics and stuff, it's like, okay, well, they're gonna auto reload, so we gotta just figure out some way around that. So they got rid of that. All those abilities now just give you fast reload. So it makes it so it's not the ideal way to approach every situation. On top of that, there've been a bunch of gun nerfs and stuff. It's all been kind of a mitigation of the power creep that's been going on over the past couple of years. We got too strong finally, and they're like, shucks, we can't design a game around this without it being super complicated.
Oh yeah, and they wiped everyone. Like they leveled everyone to 750.
Yeah, that's been the other good thing is everybody's on an equal playing field now, and we all kind of get to do things together.
We're just making our way through this world one dreg at a time?
Yes.
Or is that one of the fallen? Not fallen.
Yes, those are fallen.
Those are fallen,
There's
okay.
The lowest of the fallen society.
Lowly dreg of the fallen.
Docked of their extra arms because of their low status. Anyway.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man,
did
you
not
want
know that.
Whip out my grimoire cards right now, Connor?
Well, we'll have a larger conversation about lore. Well, cool. I think that sums up basically everything that we need to talk about with gameplay. So now we can talk about the moon!
Oh, I hear there are wizards up there or something. That joke's 4 or 5 years old. Yeah, remember when they took that line out of Destiny for being too silly?
And then remember when they took an entire person out of Destiny for being too Peter Dinklage?
The moon is back, and it's kind of similar, but not too similar, because I've been shooting all over that thing on my Sparrow. I'm like, oh, I remember this place, and I fall in a giant fissure in the ground that wasn't there before.
A lot of fissures, a lot of crags and crevices.
Yeah, but the moon is back, and it's got a couple familiar areas. I'd say it's almost like twice as big as it used to be in Destiny 1. There's like a couple similar spots, and there's a whole labyrinth of creepy hive tunnels and stuff, but it's enough familiarity for you to walk and be like, oh, I remember this place. But then right around the corner, everything's different.
It's a pretty sizable area for an expansion.
Yeah, and that's all just above ground stuff. There's all this crazy like moon bases and stuff that are wrecked and they're full of bad guys, but then the hive have this crazy network of tunnels that go down below. And it's kind of fulfilling when somebody's like, oh, where's the world's grave? And you're like, I kind of remember. Let me tell you.
Take a left at the Hellmouth.
Yes.
This is the coolest. I never knew the moon was so metal.
But every moment you're just standing there on the moon doing nothing, and there's just horrible string music playing in the background, just stressing you out the whole time because it's so spooky.
It's a great area to just roam around and play public events.
Yeah, lore around every corner. I keep finding these little lore nuggets buried in the dirt.
Let's talk about the story,
Ooh.
which is great. We're talking about lore. Maybe not the most important part of a Destiny expansion,
Yeah.
but if you love Destiny, you know that there's an incredibly opaque, complicated story behind it.
You bet there is.
So what do we think about this one?
It was. I liked it. It's short, but most Destiny expansion campaigns are, except for maybe Forsaken, which was pretty sizable. But this one was more, if you go back, Rise of Iron sized. Amount of story missions you can kind of count on your hand, just to kind of get you into the area and the mechanics and stuff and how all that works. Gets you into the moon to introduce you into some parts of the Destiny narrative that haven't been pushed forward yet, but it's finally moving forward a little bit. It introduces some stuff where it's like, whoa, this is something important, and you're gonna kind of investigate what it is. And I think that's something that's gonna carry forward in future seasons. But the story itself, like Eris Morn comes back, character from Destiny 1, all brooding and glowy eyes and hunched over, got that space scoliosis. It's like, here, Guardian, use this gun to stop the hive.
That low gravity will wreck your bones. I still have to finish the campaign. I think I'm still rather early in it. I don't like it as much as Forsaken. I loved the Forsaken story. I loved the way that it worked with the missions. I guess more to be seen. This also kind of could be seen as setup though for the future of Destiny.
Yeah.
So it's more of like less of a story reset and more of like the game has been changed. And
yeah, they have said that with this season, every subsequent season is going to be tied together. So there is a narrative that's getting moved forward. And I'm sure that there are going to be things that happen, just like Forsaken, there were kind of time-gated things that would happen. So eventually,
Right.
like, oh, suddenly a new strike appeared or something, because something happened in the video game.
Yeah, and this is just the first of 4 planned seasons.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to talk about the seasons and Destiny 2 Shadowkeep without talking about Destiny New Light, the free-to-play version, which launched, the same day. I think it includes all of Destiny 2, Warmind, Curse of Osiris.
Yeah, pretty much all of year 1. It's actually a whole lot you can do for free. I'd say like 80% of the game is there.
It also comes with a season pass that is very much akin to what Fortnite has been doing.
Yeah, so there are 2 layers of the season pass. There is the free version, which is just like different layer of rewards, slightly different. You have to do some of the things a little bit longer than you do with the premium season pass, which is included with Shadowkeep. If you buy Shadowkeep, you have the premium level of that pass.
Yes.
Which also includes the free version.
And that second tier comes with a lot of like upgrade modules, which has replaced Glimmer and legendary shards and materials
Yeah.
from planets that you use to infuse gear.
If you have the premium version, the first level is here's an exotic gun, go have fun with it.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet. So the season passes kind of become the reason you level up in this game. In
Okay.
previous Destiny years and expansions, whenever you leveled up, you'd get a bright engram,
Yes.
which is kind of just like their loot box. You get like a sparrow that you already have and a ghost you already have. You just trash all of it. But now it's kind of a meaningful leveling up system. So you level up, you go like, oh, I gotta see what I got in that season pass now. Because like, oh, I got a good chunk of Glimmer and some new boots. Cool.
It's definitely different. It puts a lot of weight on bounties for getting XP, which is, a great reason to stick around and play Destiny once you've gotten through the expansion. I like it. It remains to be seen how it plays out, because I'm in like the honeymoon period of grinding on a Destiny expansion where
yes.
you're just constantly raising power levels.
Glorious.
I'll be honest, I don't know what it's going to be like when I get further. I don't know if you have any insight into that.
Less friends will be playing, but I'll be there every time.
Oh, okay. With this going free to play, do you see any downsides for people who have been playing since launch? Or is it kind of, this raises all ships?
I'm sure for some hardcore players, they'll see it as like, oh, what was the point of grinding 750 if everybody's suddenly 750 again? Well, I mean, you were playing for 2 years and you got to have fun, so there's probably that. But I think for myself, it's a great thing. Like, more people playing Destiny, the world's more populated. I went to the farm for the first time and it was filled with people who had no idea what they were doing. Overall, it's having it free to play and having so much game there, and it just encourages more of the social part, because like people are running around like, oh, I don't know how to do this thing. I need to, maybe one of these crazy geared up players running around might point me in the right direction.
The influx of new players is definitely positive. I agree with you on that. Yeah, I'm excited to see what the future of free-to-play Destiny looks like.
Yeah, me too. I'm curious if this is something that will ultimately benefit Bungie making more video games.
I certainly hope so. You've been playing on PC.
I have.
How does it perform?
Yeah, after that shaky launch, just servers crashing and all this nonsense for 6 hours. Wonderful, as I wrote in the Google Doc, smooth as butter.
Smooth as
On
butter.
PC. Yeah, which has always been great. Destiny's been a wonderfully optimized game on PC for all sorts of builds. That's been my experience. Like, you've been on console though, right?
Yeah, I'm on PS4. Soon to be on PC, hopefully. But I am on PS4, and the PS4 version works pretty well. It doesn't run at 60 frames per second, which
It's always, yeah, I think even on
is fine. It's
higher
fine.
tier consoles like One X and PS4 Pro, it's still 30 frames per second. You can
Yeah.
still play them in 4K though.
When you're sparrowing very quickly through the moon or other things, you'll often hit like a loading screen.
Oh, that still happens on PC.
Oh, it does? Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I find enjoyment in it. I have to.
So it runs great, it plays great. Do you have any general observations that we didn't talk about?
When does this come out? Today?
This comes out on Sunday?
What? Yeah, Sunday. Sunday sounds good.
Sunday.
Well, there's a raid that probably came out already.
Yesterday.
There's a dungeon very similar to the Shattered Throne from Forsaken. That's really cool. We gotta run through that at some point.
Yes, now that there's cross save, we'll play.
Yes.
We'll meet together in the middle on Xbox.
Yes, we will. Yeah, the international waters of Xbox Live. There's an activity called Vex Offensive. It's probably going to be something similar to how the Dreaming City in Forsaken worked, where a raid happened and then a bunch of things were triggered in game.
Right.
It's like, oh, some crazy guardians went into the moon or whatever, and they did something, and now there's this new activity.
These
Pretty
guardians
sweet.
shot the asteroid, and
Yes.
now there's a gate that's opened.
Confronted with time-traveling robots inside the moon, they shot bullets at it and succeeded in making the more video game happen.
All that and more in Destiny 2. What a great place that would be to end. But
Yeah.
I do want to ask real quick if you have any critiques.
I mean, Destiny's storytelling is always a little bit shaky, especially with like crazy, weird, esoteric things like the moon and the Vex and the Hive and all that. It moves the story forward a little bit for the people that are into it. The moon's really cool. They did a really good job at making it familiar, but also still different enough to warrant spending money on and running around. Though I think you can actually do it free to play. You can go to the moon and explore.
Oh, cool. You just can't do the Shadowkeep.
Yeah, you just can't do stories. And
Okay.
stuff. It's a good experience expansion, they've balanced a lot of the gameplay in a good way to kind of reel things back to where they can keep making meaningful changes to mechanics and stuff like that. But good expansion. Definitely Rise of Iron Caliber.
Okay.
Right up there with that. I'm excited to keep playing it.
Yeah, we're excited to see what the next few seasons bring for Destiny, but it seems like now being free of Activision, they have come out of the gate strong.
Yeah, they clearly said that Shadowkeep is the beginning of where they want to take Destiny.
I'm looking forward to playing more. I'm definitely going to be going home and playing it most of the weekend.
Yeah, I'll see you on the moon,
I'll
Connor.
see you on the moon, Jacob. Moon.
Today we're reviewing Gears 5, and guess what? The chainsaw gun, it's a Lancer, is back! That is actually really impressive. I mean, it's scripted and everything, but I did not think you would be able to do it that effectively. Wow, well.